everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shooting the Breeze. I, as usual, am your friendly neighborhood soda, joined to my right by the great Ben Big Fudge Rainer. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty fucking good. Can't really get talking.
Drop the first F-bomb. We fucking beat it to it.
Yeah. Before we jump head first, or boob first, or beaver first, or whatever you want to go into our topic, let me introduce to you our panelists. We've got my good buddy from our Star Wars show, Taco. We've got John from Movie Lovers Unite and Mount Schmodown. And we have, for the first time on the show, Charly Weidman. How are all you guys doing?
Doing great. It's good to be back over here talking about some raunchy comedies. Listen to Ben say fuck for the first time. So it's great.
Hey, you did too. Dagan, what's up, yo?
Yeah.
Look at that, right away.
All right, Dagan. Yeah, John said it. Our topic today is raunchy comedies, which started to make a comeback in Hollywood after, in terms of quality raunchy movies after a number of years away.
Is it?
Well, Booksmart.
I don't have anything for the last 10 years on this list.
You guys didn't Booksmart?
Yeah, I've seen Booksmart.
I started watching with my wife, and I think that we just weren't in the mood, and we never finished it. Either that, or it was 8th grade. I had the same movies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know which
Blockers was a good one, or
Yeah,
Blockers, as it was
Blockers,
originally called.
Oh yeah, Blockers was good. I was just talking about how John Cena's a better comedic actor than he is anything else. I'm halfway through the Suicide Squad. I quit to do this.
Oh, nice.
I'm enjoying him in the Suicide Squad. I'm watching it a little bit right now. I like him in it. I thought he was hysterical in Blockers. I thought he was funny in Trainwreck briefly.
Thank you. Yes, he was.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, he's getting there. He started out kind of like The Rock. He kind of started out slow. I think he's just that, but I loved him in Blockers. I thought he was hysterical. The butt chuck sequence.
Yeah, I was gonna say kudos to him to do a butt chuck scene in a major Hollywood motion picture.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the whole cast in that movie was great. Like, Leslie Mann was great in this. She was hysterical. Ike Barinholtz, I'm a huge fan of his from Mad TV days. Like, he was, the three of them were funny in there. And then this, the kind of the role reversal, gender reversal for American Pie. We got that years later with Blockers, is the females, and that's where Catherine Newton from Freaky was. That was the first movie I saw her in, was that. And the second girl, I think the one that was with Connor, the guy John Cena threw for a wall, he picked up and threw. That girl, she's in that Miracle Workers show. I think
okay.
Oh,
that would have been her. Okay, I think she was in that
around the same time as Blockers. Would Good Boys count?
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a really weird fun fact?
Of course.
Sure.
Okay, so I have a daughter who's a little more than a year old. Soda's waved at her, I think, through the camera, not in a weird way. But when we first found out my wife was pregnant, we were really happy because we were like trying for a while, and we looked back, like the doctor's like, "Oh, she was conceived this day." So we're like, and I just like randomly went back, and in our shared calendar, it was like movie date. I'm like, we went to a movie that day. Weird. I clicked it. It was Good Boys. The least sexy movie ever. Apparently, we got it on afterwards and conceived my child. A movie about 13-year-olds. It's a weird fact of life.
That movie was actually
not
pretty
related
good,
to the good times after. It's nothing to do with it.
That was weird.
Unrelated circumstances. Anyway, she's really cute. It's my daughter.
Yeah.
Nice. I thought that movie was weird. I liked parts of it. I think I was expecting more from it because the trailer looked funny.
Yeah.
And they go in Booksmart. I watched Booksmart, and it was kind of like, it was all right. I mean, I didn't really mind it didn't really care for it, honestly. Like, it was kind of like the year later version of Superbad in a sense. It was kind of like what it was a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I didn't like it, but that was me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody.
No, that's no worries.
But I didn't really love. I mean, like, I haven't watched it since. But I mean, I could say the same about Blockers. We went and saw that in the theaters, and like, I was like, yeah, it was fine. Like, I didn't feel like I wasted my money, but it wasn't like. I don't think there's been a comedy, any type of comedy, in the last quite a while that I like have revisited multiple times. And maybe it's just because I'm an adult, and maybe it's just like that. Like, it's movies that you see as a kid or a teenager, but like. I can't count the amount of times I watched some of the movies on this list, probably 100, and there just isn't anything that's came out since, I don't know, 2008 that I would put up there.
Right.
Watch Bad
And-
Trip. If
Well,
you
a
want
lot of the
21,
movies were- Sorry, go
Bad
ahead.
Trip. It's hysterical on Netflix. It's not
Yeah.
really. It's
Bad
called
Trip?
Bad Trip.
Mm.
It stars
Oh.
Eric Andre, Laurel Howery, and Tiffany Haddish. It's a hidden prank movie.
Okay.
John and I we reviewed that a couple of months ago, did we, John?
Oh, it's
yeah, we reviewed
it's
that a couple of months ago. It
Yeah,
was really
the
good.
Jackass director.
Yeah,
Oh, Jeff Tremaine?
Yeah, Jeff Tremaine. Yes, I just know that because I'm a gigantic Jackass fan.
Yeah, buddy.
And I just know that exists. I haven't seen it.
You should
Excited
see
for
John and
Jackass
I's.
Forever?
Sorry, you should see John and I's reaction to our Jackass Forever trailer. That one,
We were
I can't
cracking
wait
up.
to watch Jackass Forever.
I
I'm with
I
Tom
literally
on
watched
that.
that trailer like 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
More than the Dune trailer. which is
Yeah.
about
I-
9.
At ball practice every once in a while. I'm like, yeah, in the new Jackass movie, they're gonna have some. I think it's Steve-O take a full-on wind-up pitch to the nuts.
yeah.
Dude, it's in the
Ow!
Ouch.
In
Sure, yeah.
the best. It's an amazing shot because the softball pitcher does it when she turns around. She's like, yes, because she's like finally nailed it. It's like amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I love Jackass. I grew
Me
up on
too.
Jackass. Like John and I are going to try to review all the movies. Like we're so into Jackass. I own the DVD set of all the
Me
stunts
too.
that they did. Like I love that show. Like, and I don't think like Jeff Tremaine was involved with it. I think the director of Bad Trip, he's a guy that worked with Eric Andre on the Eric Andre show on
Okay,
Cartoon
which
Network.
I also love.
Oh, I love that show. But moving on, I don't consider that raunchy. But if you want a hilarious movie, you're gonna cry laughing it for an hour and 20 minutes, like straight up. Like I cried laughing so hard. Watch it. It's on Netflix. It's called
I
Bad.
just watched one last night that yes could definitely be raunchy. It just came out not that long ago. It's called America the Motion Picture.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh dear God, that movie is a massive cauldron of clusterfuck happiness. Like
I live my life
none
a
of it
quarter
makes
meal
sense,
at a
but it's
time.
beautiful.
I love that. That was hysterical. Like I where I work, we're a lot of my colleagues are all history buffs, and
Yeah.
Nice.
and they're
Me
like
too.
saying like, oh my god, it's historically inaccurate.
Yeah, 100%. Fucking spoilers. Paul Revere merges with his horse and becomes Robo Horse.
That's historically inaccurate.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
so.
That sounds accurate to me, to be honest.
This is life a quarter meal at a time.
I know you can't compete with the accuracy of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. But
Oh,
come
that
on,
was
now
good.
here comes
That's
That was fun.
extremely accurate for
Yeah.
one.
That's
John
way more accurate
Booth
than
was a
American
vampire, and that's why he killed him. Everyone knows that. It's part of the history books. Welcome to America.
But another thing that Taco, you were talking about movies that you feel like that you can't revisit again and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel you on that one though too, because here's the thing: I used to be a huge fan of Dane Cook and stuff like that back when he was first starting out.
Yeah.
And then I listened to his newer stuff after he was trying to redeem himself, and it's just not hitting me the way it used to hit me. So I feel like in time, I feel like some comedies are like that where we get a little bit older. The humor that we once liked is not there anymore. We wind up getting a little bit older, and it's like, I don't find this that funny anymore.
But I can still revisit those old ones, but maybe it's just the nostalgic bone that I'm stroking.
Right.
But also because we still find them funny after all these years. Like a lot of the movies we're going to be talking about, I guarantee you, we probably watched when we were a lot younger.
Right.
Some of these I should have watched when I watched them.
Yeah, same here.
One of the ones that stick up for me right now is There's Something About Mary. That movie.
Oh, we're going back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
I feel like it almost looked like we were going to travel back slowly in time, but he just jumped right to 2000 or whatever that movie came out.
97, 98.
98.
Yep. I was in seventh grade
2
when that movie
points.
came out.
2 points to jump.
I was in seventh grade when that movie came out and everything, and I remember my mom was like, "This movie better be funny, or else you're grounded." I'm like, "Okay."
I think I was in 4th or 5th grade when that came out. So you're old and I'm old.
I would have been in 6th grade.
I'm already old. That makes you pretty old.
Now, I remember going to my grandma's and the whole family watching that movie.
Nice. I remember us putting Elmer's glue in our hair trying to make it stay up because we didn't know what semen was.
Oh, my Lord.
I have not seen the movie.
That movie, what?
I have not seen it.
Oh, I thought you said it
really?
wasn't semen. I was like, yeah, it was. It's
No,
all
no,
done.
I have not
About an
seen
ear,
it.
puts it-
That's on
That
the...
was
Yeah.
For me, it's on
my list. It's on my list.
It's on that list of comedies you should see before you die just once.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, the hair gel scene, like as Dagan said.
Yeah.
Oh, can we not say semen? Dagan, can we not say the semen scene? All right, fine. I won't say semen scene anymore. Anyways, I'm not a huge Fairley Brothers fan, and I know there's going to be at least one or two on here, if not that one.
To me, they had a couple of misses for me. To me, there's something about Mary hit the home run for me.
Yeah.
The other ones, I feel like I have a love and hate relationship with.
You don't like the Best Picture winner Green Book?
I
like the movie.
I hated it.
Right.
A Star is Born for one.
Yeah.
What movie came out that year that I wanted to win? I can't even remember anymore.
I said A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Like, that movie should have won a lot more awards than it did. The Oscars screwed them over. And their ranking systems, like, the Best Picture title isn't deemed to the Best Picture. It's like the third best. Like, Green Book was like the third best, and I think the Farley brothers had an allegation against him when that came or whatever.
Okay, somebody with two computer screens. We need to move off of this Fairley Brothers kick. Somebody just tell me what was nominated for Best Picture that year, so I can tell Charlie what I think, and then we can move on. Okay.
I'm looking.
I've got
Star is Born.
All right, Soda.
So that would have won. Where is it?
Sorry, I didn't mean to get off topic.
This is Raunchy Comedies.
Was Green Book, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, which was overrated, Roma, Stars Born, and Vice.
Klansman. Klansman should have won over Green Book. I think Green Book winning is literally like freaking it's all over again. Driving Miss Daisy winning over freaking well, it didn't even get nominated, but Do the Right Thing. Like, it really reminded me of a safer Let's Talk About Race winning over Spike Lee. Let's really talk about race. It was literally the exact same thing 20 years later. That bugged the shit out of me. And anyways, I'm glad we got that off of both of our chests, Charlie. Let's talk about Raunchy Comedies. And around that time, can I please say one? It's going to be my first big bomb drop.
Yeah.
I got three that are like holy shits. And first one, Super Troopers.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The first Super Troopers is, oh God.
The shenanigans scene is my favorite.
There's so many scenes in that movie that kill me, that drop me.
At the very end of the movie, when they become proper cops and they're in the house having the party, and the one guy's like walking like a duck and fucking Farmer just throws a fire extinguisher at him.
I think the funniest line in that movie is it's an onomatopoeia. It's not even a real line, and it's when it's towards the beginning, right after they got done drinking the syrup, and then they're like, "I'm gonna kick your ass," but Rando's like yelling at, and then he gets hit with the frickin' syrup bottle, and then Mac just goes, "Aha!"
Yeah.
That still, if anyone throws something at somebody else around me, I go, "Aha!" because of that. It still kills me.
Oh God,
I think it's so funny. And it's just this goofy little moment.
The sequel, unfortunately, didn't live up to the hype, but that first one is something
It wasn't
special.
bad, but it's so hard to...
Yeah.
The first one was a lightning in a bottle. Yes. Oh, it's a Vermont one.
Yeah. That's
so Vermont cops are fucking weirdo potheads.
Yeah. And it's from the same guys. I want to highlight Beer Fest. Have any of you guys seen Beer Fest?
Fuck yes.
Oh God, the Eye of the Jew.
We did a drinking game to that in college because you can't watch a movie without finding a reason to drink. And it was like every time they say Beer Fest, Gam Gam, or Landfill, and we got just destroyed.
Oh God. Yeah, that movie is way more, I'd say way more vulgar in a way than Super Troopers, but it's just as funny. Fucking, what's his name? Jay Chandra, what you call him, where he said he can't shit right because somebody stuck a paddle up his ass. Now he's just got pancakes.
I still like to quote, I'll do a BJ, an HJ, and a ZJ, and if you don't know what a ZJ is, you can't afford it.
Okay, what I wanted to ask was, what was the first raunchy comedy you guys remember watching?
Oh, that's easy for me. Animal House for me.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't grow up with it, but I do remember watching it as a kid. But it's not one that's in my brain as much. But Animal House, Caddyshack.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I'm at Canada.
What about you, John?
It's the first one I wrote down.
Porky's.
Oh yeah, that
Can we
was.
talk about Porky's?
We
Yeah.
will in a moment. Charlie, what about you?
I don't know, I'm thinking that was like there's like I didn't really watch a lot of raunchy comedies like until maybe when I got into like middle school-ish. I think
Oh yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I've seen so many raunchy movies. I think maybe the first American Pie movie. I don't remember.
I have a
I've
funny
seen,
story about that when we
Maybe.
talk about it.
I don't remember. I've just had that. I've seen like again. I've seen so many. Like I think the first R-rated movie I watched maybe was The Matrix. And then, like I said,
So raunchy too. Oh my god, that
Mm.
movie is so inappropriate.
but I think the first movie I watched with my parents was Swordfish. But then again, none of these are raunchy comedies. So, like again, I don't know. Like I can't think of anything like
you
that.
had a normal upbringing where your parents wouldn't let you watch inappropriate shit.
Yeah.
I watched a lot.
I didn't have that. I could watch anything at
Me
any
neither.
time.
For me,
Ever.
the first one that I remember is Police Academy.
Okay.
You see, I was allowed to watch that.
Ben, me, John. Can we go in the order that we just said that? Because I want to talk about all these.
Yeah, for sure. So Ben, Animal House, which is your background, that's considered the first of the raunchy comedies as we know it.
Yeah, that's like
First
who's
mainstream
breaking out of their
one.
shell and showing you what a bunch of stoner magazine editors can do with like $500,000.
Yeah, and a bunch of genius comedians. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching it on TV, so I watched it and then version for the first few times, and it was funny, but yeah, everyone in that movie is pure comedic gold. Richard John Landis and Harold Ramis, but interesting fact that originally there was a Chevy Chase Bear movie. Those guys to be some of the main people. But somehow they felt like, no, these wouldn't work. So they got a bunch of unknowns for that movie. And
Well, like, with the exception of like John Belushi and
Well, John Belushi was unknown at the time. He wasn't on SNL yet, or was he
he
only
was
on
doing
one
SNL. He was flying back and forth.
yeah.
Okay, I know that it was Kevin Bacon's first movie, and because I remember he was talking about it on WTF, and he said even then he knew that he didn't belong because he's like, in the movie I was like, you know, the fratty guy, but he's like, even there, they're all genius comedians, and I am some idiot who's getting paddled and saying thank you, sir, may I have another? And he's like, I did not feel invited, but he also talked about the crazy parties that were going on set that were insane, which you could only guess.
The first, well, there's one that's been told out there quite a bit. And the first night they all got to the college campus where they were filming, the cast got into a fight with one of the fraternities. Yeah,
God, I love it.
like, and they were like, it was a bonding experience of sorts.
I believe also that was Donald Sutherland's first couple roles too. In that too, I believe he was the pot smoking professor.
He was the pot smoking.
Yeah.
I thought he was established by that point because that's in the late 70s.
Yeah, no, he would have been established by that point because he
Well,
already did Kelly
might have
Heroes
been-
and other stuff. And
It might have been Kevin Allen's first big role.
Yeah, that's true. Because
I can't remember the
Sutherland had
actor
been MASH,
or
like, 6 years
characters.
prior to that, and that was an Academy Award-winning film. So
yeah, and then he was Donald Sutherland would have been in Invasion of the Body Snatchers and
which is at the same time as Animal House. Yeah.
oh really? I thought
Yeah,
that was
same
an
year.
earlier one.
Same here.
Anyways, I just had to do that once. I can't remember the character name or the actor's name, but the main dude, Van Wilder's dad.
Otter.
Tim Matheson.
Tim Masterson.
Tim Matheson. Character's name Otter.
That role was specifically written, and I think it would have been perfect. He was really good too, but for Chevy Chase, and Chevy Chase just didn't show up or whatever because 70s of cocaine and stuff. But yeah, when I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was definitely written for 70s Chevy Chase. Like it's 100%. But
To be honest, I don't think it would have been as funny.
I mean, he does kind of kill it. Like that actor does do really good as
does.
that character. That pompous but also slackery. Like, yeah, it's pretty great.
All those guys killed it. I mean, there was not one bad performance in the bunch.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
And most of them went on to have really long careers.
Except for Kevin Bacon. He's not in anything.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
Yeah, I know that guy. I don't think you can think of 5 people that are in movies with him.
But I mean, like,
thank you guys. I'll be here all night.
Tim Matheson had a long career. Tom Hulce had a great career with Amadeus.
Did he made 2 movies and then nothing else.
No, Tom Hulce did a lot of movies, but he was mostly established as a theater actor.
I gotta throw up something from our only viewer. I don't think it has to be R-rated to count as a raunchy comedy because you said it yourself, Dagan. You asked if Austin Powers counts, and yes, Austin Powers counts. Though it gets away with it, but there's how many dick jokes with like the balloons and the salami and
the second one pulling the stuff out of the butt, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of raunchy. They just got away with it because they know that money.
Yeah,
you make a lot more money.
I take that back. That Austin Powers is probably my first raunchy I watched, but that movie
was 97.
So classic.
Mm-hmm.
It was hysterical.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that.
And they used the meme today because of
Jeff Bezos' rocket.
Jeff Bezos' rocket looked exactly like Dr. Evil's.
Yeah,
just a little prick.
Yeah.
All right. The best sequence of that sequence is when a girl's like, it looks like a giant Woody Harrelson. Is that you? Can I get your autograph? No, wait more. She's like, yeah, sure. He goes, what's that? She's like, it looks like a huge. He's like, I've seen bigger, but that's like Woody Harrelson seen bigger. Like,
well, my thing is
ridiculous. That's just a little prick.
Yeah.
No, I've seen bigger.
Come here, one-eye monster. Come here, one-eye monster.
The Dr. Evil and Jerry Springer sequence was the funniest part of the second. Because like the opening of the second movie, that scene was so funny. He beats up Jerry Springer.
Skinheads and the KKK dad, the evil dad. Oh. Okay.
What was yours again, Taco?
I think it was Gunga Galunga. It was Caddyshack. And I want everybody to know that in college I dressed up as the caddy, I can't remember his name, Bill Murray's character, and I had a disgusting white shirt that I mowed like 8 lawns in like that week without washing it specifically so it would be green and sweaty, and I wore it to a Halloween party like that. I had a perfect hat. I duct taped a flashlight to a BB gun, carried it the whole time, and I stayed in character the entire party. I didn't get laid though. I wonder why. I didn't pick up any chicks.
That's one for me I've seen a few times, but it doesn't hit for me as
really.
I don't know why. It just never did.
I would put it in my top 10 films of all time, honestly. And if you just say comedies, not even raunchy comedies, it's either number 1 or number 2 next to Clue, which I don't have Clue on this list because I won't call it raunchy. But I consider those 2 like tied for funniest movies of all time, in my eyes.
Yeah, no, there's something about Caddyshack. Like, I mean, there are scenes, like, I love Rodney Dangerfield's character and stuff, but I mean, just overall, the movie, it's not one I revisit often.
I honestly think to be honest with you, as well as Coda. Like, I have this mental block when it comes to Caddyshack and also to Animal House. Like, I remember seeing them, but it's like, I don't remember it. It's like Men in Black came into my house and just wiped my memory out. From seeing it, I remember seeing it, but I don't remember in its full aspect or anything like that. So, it just didn't stick with me like Police Academy did or any of those other films.
Wow. I mean, it kind of hurts me, but I'm about to tell you how much I don't like Porky's as soon as we're done with this. But
it's okay because just because that was my first raunchy comedy I saw does not necessarily mean that I liked it.
I don't think anyone loves Porky's.
My parents absolutely fucking love Porky's. Like,
really?
Oh God, yeah, me too. I actually enjoy it quite a bit as well.
Oh, okay.
But back to Caddyshack, Charlie. Is that one you've seen before?
I actually haven't.
All right, I'm gonna leave. I came here specifically to talk about Caddyshack.
Ben, about it. I've seen it.
Oh, thank you. Ben's got my back. The rest of you guys
I've seen it too. There are moments I like. It's just when you compare it to other raunchy comedies, for me personally, it's just not up there.
Oh my God. Look at his hat. a worst looking hat I ever saw. You get a hat like this, you get a free bowl of soup. Oh, it looks good on you though. Like, come on! Like, it's so good. All right, I'll do one Caddyshack story and we can move on. I got a story for almost every movie on this list, but one Caddyshack story. So that was the first scene they filmed with Rodney Dangerfield. So they already started filming a little bit. Rodney Dangerfield came in and he did his big golf pro shop monologue. So he's walking through, give me 6 of these naked lady tees, give me 3 of these, give me 4 of those. And he does the entire thing. And then he walks up to Harold Ramis, the director, who's sitting next to Ivan Reitman because Ivan Reitman wanted to direct it, but he didn't have any chops. So he walks up and he goes, oh my God, these guys are killing me. And he's like, they're like, what do you mean? It's like, no one's laughing. It's like, it's a movie. They can't laugh. It's silent on the set. And he goes, oh, really? They're like, yeah, because it's his first movie. They're like, right, yeah, you're doing great. And he goes, oh, okay. Like he thought he was bombing.
That's funny. That's right. It was his first movie. That's right.
It makes me love Rodney Dangerfield so much because he's
I love Rodney Dangerfield.
Naive, like
same.
Anyways,
so
I gave it its light. We can move on.
On to Porky's.
I don't want to forget about the.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. And then Bill Murray picks it up after they evacuate and goes, it is! And then he like looks around and goes, not that bad! And then bites it. just to make a roof. Yeah, Porky's. What year did that come out? That's got to be 70s.
That's early 80s. I think like 1982.
I was going to say 80.
Probably. Caddyshack was also 80, right?
Yeah. Caddyshack would have been 80, yeah. Porky's. 1981.
So after Caddyshack.
Okay. Yeah, my parents absolutely loved this movie, and after I started watching the American Pie franchise, like, oh, they got to really watch Porky. So I did, and I personally love them because I just think they're just so stupidly fun, even though there's a lot of stuff you can get away with.
When it comes to this genre, it's just that movie's it's such a staple and it's so hyped. Yeah. And I didn't watch it until college, and maybe that's why, because the characters are very nothing. There's like 3 jokes I like, but it's very much what it is. But I mean, it didn't seem timeless to me.
That's kind of what it feels like with Caddyshack for me, because I watched it in my 20s and it didn't. Yeah,
that makes sense. All right. We can be friends again.
Yay. What about you guys? I know, John, you said that was the first, or no, John, that was the first one you watched.
Yeah. I know you said American Pie though, Charlie, but I wanted to go off of that.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Then I realized. Oh wait, I didn't see that first. It was Austin Powers, but you can go ahead and do your American Pie thing first.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I remember moving back from Boston over to Mississippi, and I remember my uncle. He's like, your parents are out of town, and me and my wife want to go see. Me and Leah want to go ahead and see American Pie. So guess what? You're going to go see American Pie 2 with us.
Nice.
I'm like, okay. He goes, but the key thing is, I'm your mom. She's your dad. I'm your dad. She's your mom. I'm like, okay. So, and she goes, and he goes, what am I? I said, you're my dad. Good. But she's your mom. Okay, good. So we go down there and everything. And I was just being a pest pretty much because I was like in 8th grade. So we go into the movie.
You're just getting into the role.
Yeah.
Right. So I was really going to buy into it. So I was like, hey, Dad, can I go ahead and get some popcorn? He goes, no, I just fed your fucking ass already. I was like, you see, this is why I like you as my dad.
Nice.
And so we went to see American Pie, and I got to I was just laughing all the way through that whole entire movie, especially the part where you have Jason Biggs being in the film, and then he's running from his house back over to his friend's house to look at the webcam with Nadia. That scene made me laugh. This is a very relatable
scene of all time.
Yeah, wouldn't doubt it.
That was,
and then there's an iconic
porn, everybody.
Yep, that was back before OnlyFans was cool. So
yeah, way before. I think the first one I saw was the second one. I think I might have seen that one first. But what's funny is, again, my mom fucking, she's like, oh, I want to watch this with you. So I'm sitting there like 2001, so it would have been 13, 14 years old, watching with my mom, and she absolutely lost her shit laughing when Jim got his hand glued to his pecker.
Oh, there's actually an extended scene to that on the unrated version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I've watched all the extended in high school. I had
too.
1 and 2. I watched them constantly in high school.
And I loved it whenever he's inside the emergency room, and he has the Pussy Palace the VHS tape to his dick, and the woman's over there looking at him, and the father, it's just, would you let him, really? You let him bring that over here?
Yeah.
He goes, couldn't he just leave that at home? No, he cannot leave that at home because my son super glued his dick to a videotape. Maybe you don't care because you don't have a dick.
Or maybe you do.
I think that was also like John Levy's like second wind, because he was in so many things. The guy who played his dad, he was in so many things early on because he was like an original Second City Television. That's a Canadian thing for you.
Yes, TV all the way.
Yes. But and then I think he was in like National Lampoon's Vacation. He's the guy who's trying to sell the family truckster. But he kind of fizzled, and I feel like him playing the dad in that gave him that little bit of a career, like a boost. And then I don't think if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't get Schitt's Creek now. Like, I think he stayed relevant enough.
I think that's what made him relevant, because I mean, before that, all the stuff you listed, but I think a lot of those were very niche.
I'm probably the only person who recognized it.
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
But it wasn't until American Pie where you're like, shit, that Eugene Levy is funny.
He's also in that Michael Keaton movie, More Simplicity.
Multiplicity.
Yes. Yeah, that movie's great.
That movie keeps coming up. Like this last week, I've talked about Multiplicity more than I've talked about it in like 10 years.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
It's a great movie. I love that movie.
Oh, I do want to say 2 facts about Porky, since we kind of skipped over. 1, same director as A Christmas Story, which tickles me nothing.
Bob
Clark. And here's a fun fact: in the second Porky's, they do a stage play of Romeo and Juliet, and something goes wrong where one of the swords disappears, and they give one of the guys the nearest thing, and it's the fucking leg, the award from Christmas Story.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. It's probably Bob Clark's now that I know that he's directed 3 movies, it's probably my least favorite of those 3. Yeah. But yeah, it is kind of funny that he's done these, because the other big one is Black Christmas, the original 70s Black Christmas, which I think's his best movie, but it's probably because I think that's the best 70s slasher, because I love the original Black. I'm a big horror guy, but I love the original Black Christmas, but also Christmas Story is legendary for a reason.
But yeah, the other fun fact is, for many years, for almost 30 years, it was the highest grossing Canadian film, even though it was all American cast, all American crew. It's because
Bob Clark was Canadian.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like, he's Canadian, but I mean, he was funded by a Canadian company. So that's what makes it a Canadian movie, even though outside of Bob Clark, and Kim Cattrall, there's no Canadians.
But yeah, I mean, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Didn't Kim Cattrall in that?
Yeah, that was
Kim Cattrall was in that.
The first movie.
Important.
What's her name? She plays a coach who is known for whenever she has sex, just like howls like a wolf.
Nice.
And one of the guys had sex with her in the equipment room of the gym while there's a gym class going on. And
was it me?
No, it wasn't me. It was another coach. And I guess with the acoustics, like, everybody fucking heard it. Like, everybody heard it.
Awesome. I would have sex with Kim Cattrall then.
It was just like, oh my lord.
I do think my biggest redeeming quality of that movie is, I think the fact you got a big muscle-bound dude with the nickname Meat is the funniest thing ever. And after I first saw that, I immediately like hang out with my friend who lifted a lot of weights. I'm like, I'm gonna call you Meat now. Like, I need a meat friend. Because I love that nickname. It's so fucking.
For me, it's Pee Wee measuring the length of his morning wood. Like, dear God. And his mother walks in on him every time. And I think there's one of the movies, I think it's the third one, when he does it, she barges in on him, he spins around so fast he lands right on it.
Ouch! Made my dick hurt.
Yeah.
You know,
like, why the morning wood? Like, can't you just get a boner big enough to measure? I've never measured morning. Is it bigger?
Like,
Soda, are you not the? Not the
I got no.
expert. Hey, John's back.
Hey,
I'm talking about, is a morning wood bigger than a normal wood?
Thoughts?
I would have to say it's actually bigger.
You would?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to come
If
over
you can
later,
actually hang a towel on it and then try lifting a wet towel on it, then chances is it's probably stronger and also bigger.
All right.
Nothing I do that, though.
I'm not done with morning wood yet, Soda. You can't clean cut me on this. Is it true? Do you guys believe the theory that the reason they occur is because it's stopping you from peeing? Because that's what my mom told me, but she doesn't have a penis, so I don't know what she would know.
I've
Funny-
never heard
funny
that
story.
before.
Funny story, though. Well, not
See,
really
this-
funny story, but like I know
A story?
everything about. Well, here's the thing. If you're thinking about it like this, if you have to use the bathroom and you're having sex and everything, and you haven't used the bathroom, you can't. Basically, it's going to make you last longer because of the fact that you haven't used the bathroom.
You're saying it's like in the way?
Yeah.
Like it's a single file line?
Because I had that happen to me where I'm going at it for like 2 hours.
Holy crap! Jeez,
And
my back hurt hearing that. I don't want to last that long because I am a fat guy and I don't have the stamina I once did. If we're
I'm
going
fat,
on
but
6 minutes, I'm like, something's got to happen. I'm
Apparently, to
tired.
John, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
But
yeah,
how
when
you guys-
I
was-
sprint.
when I was
We got to
younger,
go to bed, all right?
when I was younger and I would wake up with morning wood, I would actually sit down to pee because for some reason I thought it was funny that like just the pressure that was coming right out of there was like a rocket.
All right, now this is an after-hour show. So like when Harloff did these.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Charlie, you said yours was was Austin Powers, correct?
Was
Yeah.
his first?
Yeah.
We did kind of cover it already.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's a great set of movies, all three of them. I think I saw the third one in the theaters. All those movies were just great. I mean, I even
saw
have
all the theaters.
like one of my when I was still at working at the theater, we had a lot of my friends at the theater. They're in my fantasy football league, so the whole theme was Austin Powers. So we had someone's name was Dixie Normus. Like I forgot what mine was. It was
that
like
was
always
the
have
Goop
Austin
chick.
Powers themes. Like all the names are so raunchy, but yet they're so funny.
Lots of vagina. Ivana Humpalot.
Number two.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Who's number 2 working for? That's right. You show that turd who's boss.
I still make that joke if somebody's just dying next to me and it's a complete stranger. If I'm just like taking a piss at a bar and somebody's taking a shit, they're like, "Ugh." I'm like, dude, who does number 2 work for? Like, I'll still do it, and then I'll get out so he doesn't come in. Like, so he doesn't see what it is. I still will make that joke.
The one I like
You're
to
that
do,
turd who's boss.
I-
Tim
I-
Allen, ladies and gentlemen.
the one I like to do because I work around like bigger machinery and stuff and what have you is if someone starts driving towards me, like a friend of mine, just for fun, I just go no.
Get out of the way!
I don't trust the psycho bastards at my work enough to make that joke because they'd be like, "Oh, you tested me?" Like,
Oh
they
no,
just
I do it
take
when they're on the
piss
other
there.
side of the yard or something. I'm not that dumb.
Oh, no, just kill the little bastard. I don't care. Dad, I thought we made we made progress in therapy. Dude, I paid the little bitches off.
There's a lot of. Oh, here, fun fact. All right, I think we're fun facting all these movies before we can move on. Seth Green he had to like meditate and really think because he was offered 2 movies that were shooting at the exact same time and he didn't know which one it would do. And it was in between Austin Powers, kind of a smaller role, but still, name, and Carrot Top's movie. And he had to really decide.
Austin Powers. I think I made the right choice.
There.
He made
Hey,
a
but-
great choice there.
Who knows? Maybe the Carrot Top movie would have blown up if it had Seth Green. You don't know.
Well, okay. Question: would he have been Carrot Top's character, or would he be with?
No, it would just been like a random scene. I've never seen that movie. Hey, look, somebody who isn't Dagan said something.
Oh, thank you.
Is our channel doing awesome? That's the lowest viewed Star Wars show, but it happens. No one counts besides me through tears.
I had. Oh, it's back to Seth Green.
Because you weren't on it.
He
Sorry.
was almost cast in another movie because the studio didn't like the actor who portrayed the character in the first movie. Universal wanted Kevin Smith to cast Seth Green as Jay in Mallrats.
What?
Jay Muse had to audition to play himself.
Okay. If it wasn't that part, like, I would love to see Seth Green in Mallrats. Like, that sounds amazing. But the idea of replacing Jason Mewes in a Jason Mewes part, like, the damn character's based on Jason Mewes as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, that was Kevin Smith's argument to why they shouldn't cast Seth Green.
How about what that Airborne movie? Oh, it might have been called Airborne. About that.
Oh, the rollerblading?
A surfer who went to somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the snowboard, and Seth Green was what, the cousin?
Oh, yeah, it was a skateboard. Seth Green was the cousin or the stepbrother or something like that. And Jack Black was also one of the gang members.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
It's a movie. It was probably like a direct-to-video release in the early 90s. It's called Airborne. Basically,
yeah, I've seen that before.
It's about a kid who his parents moved from where they lived, where he was surfing all the time, to a place where now like rollerblading is the big thing.
Yeah,
and that's basically what it is. It's like one of those like Karate Kid type movies, but about rollerblading. It's not that great, but it's I do remember it was a big deal when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
On Seth Green, a really awesome movie that came out this time. I don't know if it counts as Raunchy Comedies, more of like a teen comedy. But I always knew him from a movie that I feel like wasn't a big deal for everybody else, but it was a really big teen movie for me. Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah, that's a cool
it's a
movie.
huge like I watched that movie constantly when I was a kid. It has everybody in it.
Yeah.
Donald Faison, Breckin Meyer.
That's one I came to again in my 20s, but that one I really liked. I really liked that one.
That movie's so good.
Yeah.
Look at Seth Green there.
Yeah, with like the freaking like soccer mom haircut. Oh yeah.
And the hockey.
And that's the chick from Ferris Bueller's, which I didn't deem was a raunchy comedy, so I didn't put it on this list.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Like out of John Hughes, I think the closest would probably be Weird Science.
I was gonna say,
Sixteen
the
Candles.
one where they make a sex doll.
Yeah.
You're probably they turn a Barbie doll alive. Now that we kind of touched Kevin Smith a little, can we touch Kevin Smith a little? On this list that I looked at to give me like an idea, because I don't know what's a raunchy comedy really, it was Clerks was on that list. I put a question mark on it. Does that count as a raunchy comedy?
I mean, you do have somebody fucking a dead guy in the bathroom.
I never
how many dicks really
saw
suck?
one or two.
Yeah.
I sucked 37 dicks. 37? Like,
Yeah, try not to suck any dicks when you're walking through the parking lot. And the one guy
when
walks
Randall
out.
is reading the list of porno in front of the child, like, oh, it's very raunchy.
Oh yeah. Okay, it's a raunchy comedy. Is it the nerd in me that I'm like, what do you mean that's a nerd comedy? Because of the Star Wars conversation.
And
so like
Salsa Shark and yeah.
I guess it's like it feels a little more like it's weird that I think of that as more highbrow because there's actually a lot of intelligent shit in it. But then he reminded me of all the not highbrow shit in it.
Yeah, and then if you look at his career, like when it comes to raunchy comedies, your mind would more likely first and foremost go to Mallrats, to be honest.
Yeah. But again, that reminds me of a very of its time teen comedy, and that's what the producers are making it. Were like, add more boobs, do this, and they really tried their hardest to not make it Kevin Smithy, but Kevin Smith fought against it, and I actually consider that their second best. And
One of the better.
I don't know. I consider Dogma number 1, and Clerks has to be number 2, so maybe it's their number 3. But still, I love Mallrats.
Mallrats is my favorite.
Mallrats your favorite?
Yeah.
It's hard to not put Clerks above it, and I think Dogma is amazing. And like it's a masterpiece. I love Dogma.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that movie with Jason Lee and Tom Green?
Stealing Harvard?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 2 Tom Green movies on my list.
Freddie got
the other
fingered.
one.
Huh? Yes, Freddie Got Fingered and Road Trip.
Road Trip.
Road Trip is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flex
And
Drive was a good one.
its sister movie, Euro Trip.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt Damon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt Damon
God
appearance.
doesn't know. This is
And I knew you guys would bring it up, so I didn't write it on my list. I saw it, and I was like, somebody's gonna bring it up.
To this
I-
day,
I-
Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah. After all these years.
I have a friend named Scott who says that movie ruined his high school.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I worked with a guy named Scott, and I asked him that the other day while the song was playing. He's like, "How often do you hear that in college?" He's like, "Well, it happened after college, but I still heard it a lot."
Matt
He
Damon's
said-
appearance was hysterical in that.
That was the first Matt Damon cameo.
yeah, for some minute.
Okay.
He said it was a mixture of Scotty Doesn't Know and Scotty Don't from Austin Powers that ruined his high school. Scotty Don't.
Question.
Yeah.
What is the funnier Matt Damon cameo? Your Trip or Full Ragnarok?
Ragnarok for me.
Out of those two, it would be Red.
Interstellar.
Deadpool
That movie
2.
was just ridiculous. That movie sucked.
I gotta go.
I love
Deadpool,
that movie.
I gotta go. Deadpool 2 because he's not. Matt Damon's in it, but he's not his character. He's played a character that I think his character. He was him. He was the trucker. That was him. Was talking with the other guy, and he's talking about toilet paper. He's right before Thanos or Cable punches him in the face. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
I
But,
completely missed that. I remember the Brad Pitt cameo because he played Vanisher.
You see Brad Pitt, but in this, it's shot far enough away that you can't tell at first glance it's Matt Damon.
I believe, I might be mistaken. I believe the other guy is Alan Tudyk.
Yeah,
It
it is Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, yeah, top 5 actors of all time. I love Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? All right, this is way off because now we're talking Disney. But everyone see that clip where it shows that he does the voice of the messed up chicken in Moana, and he's like does the voice of it's like. By the way, I went to Juilliard.
Yeah.
That makes me love him so much.
So I want to touch on the one that I had mentioned, which is the first one I remember seeing, which is Police Academy.
Oh yeah, we gotta go
Everyone
back.
here
To that.
seen that one? Like that's one that was on constant repeat for me when I was a kid. Like I watched it all the time.
Great movie. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember loving it.
It still holds up, in my opinion. The first two still hold up.
It was played on cable television, like early Comedy Central, like pre-South Park Comedy Central, every single day during the day. So I remember seeing that crap like when I was really little, but it never got in. Like, of course, I couldn't tell you the plot. I know that it's a bunch of guys who go to a police academy. I know that. But, like, I don't know what the inciting incident and climax is of it.
Yeah, like, I mean, it is kind of, in a way, it does feel like scenes stretched together with a loose plot, basically, because, I mean, it's just basically Mahoney goes from not wanting to be a cop, wanting to be a degenerate, to actually liking what he does and wanting to do it. It's kind of loosely what it is.
You know what it is, Matt? It is hit me. Police Academy is the adult version of Heavyweights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I can see that.
Of heavyweights.
Oh, yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Was Bobcat Goldthwait in all of them or just
No,
the
he
later ones?
wasn't in the first one, and he was in 2, 3, 4, and I want to say 5.
Can't believe they made 5 of those.
They made 7 of them.
What the fuck?
The last one was Mission to Moscow. Do not fucking watch it.
I wouldn't watch 1 through 7 Soda. Like if you're like, dude, we're gonna stream and you get to pick a movie and I'll do Police Academy. I'll watch the first one after you watch.
I think it's the 5th one. I would like the last good one was 4, but I would recommend watching the 5th one because it's David Spade's first movie.
As a skateboarder, I've seen that shit on cable television.
And you know who the other skateboarder is?
No,
Tony Hawk.
No fucking way.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I don't want to get into Tony Hawk conversation, but okay. There's a few movies on my list that we can move past. I just want to say I said them,
okay,
because we did most of them. So we did Caddyshack, Super Troopers, Porky's, Clerks, American Pie. We kind of said Road Trip. Freddy Got Fingered. I also said, so those are my Tom Greens, but Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Good movie.
I actually went to see it on the big screen a few years ago.
Nice.
Nice. I would so go do that. That's great. Plus, you get to see Phoebe Cates' hoo-ha's up close.
Yeah.
This is Kevin Kline.
Really?
Really?
No, they've been married for almost 30 years.
Good job, Phoebe.
That's
I
actually
didn't
why
know
she
that.
left acting, is because she went to raise her family with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Um,
I mean, I wouldn't go raise a
love
family with
stories
Kevin
like
Kline.
that.
I feel like she was hotter when they met, and now he's I haven't seen her lately, but I know that he's like that age amazingly British guy.
so is she. She's definitely aged amazingly as well.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Both me and my wife look 15 years older than we did 5 years ago, so that sucks.
There is one I would be remiss to talk about because it is arguably one of the first, maybe the first. No, Blazing Saddles.
I knew you were going to bring up. That's why I didn't put it on. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Out of all of these
yes.
movies, that is 100% the one you could not make today. Like that.
No.
Yeah, because it's a
racism.
Jewish guy talking about racism. It's
Yeah.
It's the realest shit. He doesn't hold back at all.
No.
If you take a drink of a racial slur, you'd be dead.
So
I actually got this in that one on the mixed movie too a few years ago.
fuck you.
I watched it when I was
It was awkward,
teenager,
man.
and
It was awkward seeing that on the big screen. Yes, it's funny, but
I'd be laughing.
can you
like that.
really laugh out loud at that today?
No,
I
but
can.
that's why it's a little, like that movie is kind of a little bit more accessible because while the content kind of still does hold up in a way, but it is also reminiscent of its time.
Yeah.
Well, and also it's not done from you're not laughing at that situation, and
No.
it's definitely the black guy's the main character, and it's very much a black empowerment film taking place in a time of horrible racism.
Well,
I think it's a really important film, honestly. As much as it's hard to hear those words because it's just hard to hear them, but it's a very important comedy, I think.
well, Richard Pryor was the original choice to play Black Bart, and he ended up not getting hired because at that time he was like really heavy into his drug use, or whatever, and the studio would not insure him. So he ended up coming on and he ended up writing like one character. They're like, really? He ended up writing all the jokes for Mongo.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Richard Pryor wrote for Mongo. Mongo just pawned in Game of Life.
I could actually see that, though, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
the way that it's actually laid down. Because you can definitely tell that Richard Pryor had some type of thumbprints on it. You just didn't know what kind of thumbprints he had on it, though, at that time.
David, I'm bringing up one of them. Just wait.
So when they're doing the writing stages, he wasn't on. He didn't show up for a writing session, so they called him like, "Where are you, Detroit?"
Okay, can we just talk about how badass and messed up, but holy crap, like the pinnacle of like drug use, of lighting your face on fire while freebasing on an airplane. Like, that's such a baller move. Like, I'm weird talking to somebody too loud in an airplane. He's like, I'm going to make crack on this and light it and light my face on fire while everyone's just around. Like, what the?
Okay.
That's a baller move.
My favorite Blazing Saddles joke is actually a cut joke.
Oh.
It's the first night with Lily Von Stupp and the sheriff. And as the lights go down, you start making it out, and she's like, oh, it's true what they say. And he's like, lady, you're sucking on my elbow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I love that movie. It's not my favorite Mel Brooks movie, to be honest.
It's one of those where like one time it is, another time it's like number 2 sort of thing.
Is it my Star Wars disc? I can never put anything over Spaceballs, but but it's not like it goes Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Robin Hood Men in Tights. Like, they're all up here. They're all amazing.
Exactly.
Well, welcome to Shooting the Breeze about Mel Brooks, which I knew it was going to come up.
And this is an in joke that I love that Mel Brooks did. So the scene where they where the Native Americans, where Mel Brooks as the chief comes up on the sheriff's family, right?
The old Jewish dude is the chief.
Yeah, the old Jewish dude. Well, the reason why he's speaking Yiddish is because that was Mel Brooks saying that this Indian tribe is the lost tribe of Israel.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
I love it.
I love Mel Brooks so much.
Yeah. Can't
A
you
black
see this
sheriff?
man is
What?
a
We're-
That's another great line. I didn't hear a rumph out of you.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Dagon was trying to bring up. I don't have one of the ones he has on this list because I assumed somebody else wouldn't. It just never was a staple for me. But Superbad definitely was.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, if you were in high school when Superbad came out, you remember that moment because
I was
comedy
just graduated.
changed at that moment in my eyes.
It was a year after I graduated, so I was still just in that right time.
I was a junior or senior, I think, when that came out. It was right towards the end of my high school career.
Yeah.
Oh, I already graduated in 04,
We know.
so
Yeah.
You're old.
I was in middle school
Yeah.
when that came out. I think 8th or 9th grade, something like that. Because
How old are you?
I'm 29. I'll be 29 in September.
31. John, you're what, 48?
no. I'm actually just 36.
I watched before Superbad. I watched Knocked Up first because I knew Judd Apatow was involved with it. Oh my god, I love Knocked Up. That movie is hilarious.
I haven't
Yes,
revisited
and I knew
that
that
in a
was going
long
to come
time.
up too.
So a few I wanted to mention, I just watched this one last night. I'm a huge Trey Parker, Matt Stone fan. The one movie I watched last night, it's been on my list. I watched Orgasmo.
Yes! Yes!
Oh my god.
Love
This movie-
Orgasmo.
This movie was I was a huge fan of South. I loved Basketball. That was the first Trey Parker movie I
Love
watched.
basketball.
Basketball.
That was great. I think the first like I said, I saw Team America while I was in I think 5th grade. I saw that in theaters.
I
Team
almost brought that up as my favorite Matt Damon cameo when you guys were talking about
I was
Matt
just about to
Damon.
mention
You didn't
that.
voice it, but
Yeah, Damien.
Check
Sorry,
out
keep going, Charlie.
Joe Blow had a video about what WTF happened to Team America War Police, and they actually go into behind the scenes of the Matt Damon character wasn't supposed to be effed up. It was supposed to be a nice, distinguished kind of guy, but they screwed up the puppet design. They just rolled with it, and Matt Damon loved it. The only guy that didn't care, all the actors when they asked them out there. If they've seen Team America, they loved George Clooney loved it. George Clooney loved it. Matt Damon loved it. The guy that hated it was Alec Baldwin.
I was gonna say Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, he hated it. So he said, he said, I think he said it's fine. I kind of F you, and then Trey Parker's like, we'll beep you, Alec Baldwin or whatever.
That
But
actually surprises me, to be honest. I thought he would have actually liked it.
No,
Yeah.
not
He's
me.
like one of those kind of
No.
guys that's funny because the script is. I'm sorry, but that's just.
I love Team America. That movie was hilarious. I would watch this.
I'll
The-
never get
and
over puppets.
I got to give Trey Parker props. He knows how to write songs.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you guys hear the
Yes.
news that dropped today? They signed on to do South Park up to season 30, and then I can't
7
remember the
movies.
specific number, but yeah, some amount of movies for
14,
Peacock,
I
or
think.
for Paramount Plus. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot.
Yes.
crap.
Yeah.
Okay, as much as that news is, I want to talk about Team America a little bit. Favorite moment is the if they capture you, you have to kill yourself. Use this, and it's just a hammer covered in duct tape. Just
Yes.
murder yourself with this hammer. What
Yes.
the fuck?
Yeah.
That's a side-eye pill as a hammer. What?
Yes.
It is for. Thank you,
14
Dagan.
South Park movies,
Dagan's the
right?
guy with the. Sorry, we're both trying to play it. He's the guy with the knowledge. He always is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Garrett.
that's another one. It's the South Park movie.
Yes.
That was on the list
Yeah.
I looked at, and I was like, "Does that count?"
I watched it earlier this year, and for the first time in a long time, and
It definitely
still
holds
good.
up.
Still
Yeah.
holds up, but it was just weird seeing these characters back then because that movie's 20 years old.
That was the
Just about,
end
yeah.
of phase 1 for
Yeah,
South
pretty
Park
much.
for me, and I think phase 1 South Park is better than people give it credit for, is because before they went political, before they had a point, they were just trying to do raunchy comedies, and as a giant Beavis and Butthead fan, I'm 100% in on that. But
It's up there.
yeah.
I want to.
I was way too old when I realized that Bigger, Longer, Uncut was a circumcision joke. Was a dick joke.
Oh my God,
I
it
love
is.
that movie. I found that out after high school, and I knew that movie's out for 10 years already.
That's
I'm
the
like,
first. I
what?
just
That's a
thought
dick
it.
joke?
Yeah, I want to go back to Orgasmo because that movie is hysterical. I cried laughing.
I have a confession. I have not seen
We
Orgasmo.
know
Me
soda.
either.
It's on if you have the Stars app. I think if you do it, it's on Stars right
I'm in
now.
Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Canada
think
sucks.
yeah.
Blame them.
I remember the
Like-
day Ben tried to bitch about something not being on streaming. I was like, "Don't you fucking go there."
Yeah.
Me? What are
Yeah,
you
it was off camera and it was Mean 50 and we were talking and you started doing that and Mean 50 and 50's got it worse. We're like, shut the fuck up, because 50 doesn't have anything over there.
But yeah, the whole idea of a Mormon becoming a porno star and he's like a superhero and he knows how to fight. Like it's just, I thought that was just so funny. And then T-Rex.
Yes.
T-Rex, and then sounds like a dude. I was like, oh my god.
T-Rex not voiced by Trey Parker because I'm on top. I'm gonna make you come. Yeah, it sounds like
it's hysterical, and I love the opening song about like they know how to write songs like "Now You're a Man."
DVDA, Now You're a Man, or just Man. But that was like a song I actually got in my like rotation of music when I was in my head now. Like I love that song. Now you're a man.
Is it the girl what you're with, or what?
Yeah. No. What makes a man? Is it the girl, or is it the girl in his arms? Is it his, or because she has big titties, or is it the way he fights every day? No, it's probably the titties. Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, the Team America song, like the soundtrack for that was great. Like Pearl Harbor sucked, and I missed you more. Like that was that. That was hysterical. Or America.
Anytime I ever hear somebody say like that's the cost of freedom, I always hear freedom costs a bucko fast.
You know, there's a movie I want to bring up.
Okay, man.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They're on in this category. Who is the Cannibal the Musical?
That's what I was going to bring up.
Cannibal, their earliest movie, Cannibal the Musical.
Based on a real life person, Alfred Packer, who was a cannibal.
Yes, it's very loosely based.
Oh, yeah, very loosely.
I've not seen it. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Let's build the snowman.
It was their first movie. It was like very first thing they'd ever did.
Yeah, it was based on the Donner Party very, very loosely. It was made with... Okay, here's something for you, Charlie, because you know Orgasmo. G-Fresh, the sushi guy.
The Asian character.
He plays nothing sadder than a sad Japanese man. Boy, I'll say. He plays the Indian chief when they run in the Native Americans. It is just a bunch of very blatantly Asian people. It's hello, we are Native Americans.
Yeah. I love Matt Stone's character, that Dave, the cameraman. And his face, and I was like, his face, yeah. His face. He's like, oh, I don't want to sound gay or not, but you got a great butt.
I don't want to sound queer or nothing, but I kind of want to make love to you tonight.
Depeche Mode. And he's looking at the mariachi naked band, and they're playing. And he goes, do they kind of like, I don't want to sound queer or not, but they sound like Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode's a great band.
All right, guys, let's all take a picture. Say Geddy Lee, and they're like, Geddy Lee's like, Geddy Lee, best bass player.
In those movies, like for the Trey Parker movies, I think the underrated actor is Dion Bacher, who in baseball played
Squeak.
Yeah. And also in South Park is the voice of Satan's other lovers, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't disguise his voice at all. Watch those episodes and you'll hear him.
Yeah, they're all three of them are really good friends.
Yeah.
Like
he played Chota Boy.
Yeah. I went to Boston. What MIT? What, the one in Boston? Yeah, the one in Massachusetts. Yeah, this is the only place I can get action. I wonder why in the helmet you were.
Okay, I have some movies I want to bring up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're not going to talk about Orgasmo for the rest of the show? Okay, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. But
the fact you indulged me and Charlie for a few minutes, I'm happy.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. One of my favorite comedies we have to talk about. The 40-year-old virgin.
Saw this coming. I knew it was going to happen.
To be honest, the first time I saw it, I liked it, but the musical part of the ending completely threw me off. But then when I got older and realized what it was supposed to represent, then I thought it was obvious.
You didn't know what sex was?
Well, no. It just because it was completely out of nowhere, and it was just too weird for me at that time.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
on the second and third watch, once I finally clued in what it was supposed to represent.
Extremely young Seth Rogen. Isn't it weird that Seth Rogen is 2 years older than Jonah Hill?
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
Yep. When I first got out of high school and I was in college and I was like, how old are the Superbad guys? Because I think we're close to the same age. Michael Cera, I'm like a month older, and it pisses me off because I'm a better actor than he is. And, Jonah Hill was a couple years older, and then I looked at Seth Rogen's age, and at that time, Jonah Hill was 22 and Seth Rogen was 25, and this was after Knocked Up, after 40-Year-Old Virgin, after all that stuff. Like, he looked 30 when he was 20.
Well, he did.
And he was playing those parts.
19.
Yeah. Well, and he was what? Like, he was
19.
younger than that in Donnie Darko. I want to say that was
Donnie Darko. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he had that really horrible, I like your boobs. Like, very straight. Like, this chick just went, I like your boobs.
But
Thank you, Seth Rogen.
I'm sadly turning into him because of all the shit I have behind me. But no, that movie.
And you smoke a lot of weed too.
I want to know why you're gay. You listen to Coldplay. I thought that riff between him and Paul Rudd, like that was the first Paul Rudd movie I watched, was hysterical.
That was the first movie I saw where it's like I had to look up and it's like, oh, that's Paul Rudd. Like I don't know if I did see him in anything prior to that.
That was his renaissance because he did a lot of like Clueless, and Paul Rudd did a lot of stuff in the 90s, and he's trying to make her as a heartthrob. And no one knew he was a comedian.
Yeah.
And as soon as you give him comedic roles, it was like, oh my god, this dude's got chops.
That was during the final season of Friends is when they filmed that.
Is he in Friends?
He was. Yeah, he played Phoebe's husband.
I famously hate Friends, so it hates me for it.
Hey guys.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I think he's not the 40-year-old virgin. We got our friends. Of course, I have no way to back that up, but it makes sense.
It would. It was around that time.
It helped Steve Carell out. That movie helped Steve.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It made The Office
that
more
was between
popular.
the first 2 seasons of The Office.
Yeah.
Really? So he went from being a nobody in season 1 to being way too famous to be on that show.
And you look at Michael Scott in season 2, they physically look different as well because he had to get into shape.
Paul Rudd is what? Funny and a heartthrob? Is that what she's saying?
Funny, heartthrob, and ageless.
He is ageless. He does look the same age as he does a Clueless.
No, my best friend, her brother and sister-in-law live in the town in Alberta where they were filming the new Ghostbusters movie. And she was telling me how
I haven't watched that trailer yet. Sorry.
It's great. But anyways, she was telling me her sister-in-law stood outside of one of the filming locations one day. It's like, I want to meet Paul Rudd so I can have bragging rights in my mommy and me class. Like, that's pretty much what it said. The next day, I guess Paul Rudd had heard about it, and he actually went and found her, and they took a selfie together, and she sent it to me. I was like, that's fucking awesome!
Your sister?
No. My best friend's sister-in-law.
Oh, all right. Well, that's not as cool. No one cares.
For a while, I had a picture of Paul Rudd on my phone.
All right, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite Paul Rudd is a real-life moment. It's not even a movie moment. It's when his daughter really wanted to dress up as Wasp, but instead of dressing up like Ant-Man, he went as Weird Al. So it's like he was Weird Al with his daughter as Wasp. I love that man so much.
There's another Paul Rudd movie I want to talk, which nobody's brought up here, and I think it's the one that I can say I don't think any of you have seen. Wet Hot American Summer.
Oh, I knew it. Nope. I knew you had to play that indie card. We get it. You're so cool.
Are you kidding? That's what I just found a couple years ago, and the main reason I love it is there's this one scene in the middle where the Janine Garofalo's character is the camp counselor. She's like, I'm going to town. Everyone's like, oh, let's go to town. We all need a break, whatever. So they go there. They're like, oh, let's go have some fun. And then like Rick Springfield kicks in, which is fucking awesome. And then it shows them doing things around town, like hanging out all bubbly. And then it starts slowly getting darker. First, you see them smoking. Then you see them smoking weed and kicking the shit out of old ladies. Then you see them start drinking. Then you start them going into heavier drugs to the point where like they're in a crack house injecting, and like Amy Poehler's character dies. Next thing you know, they go back into town. It's like, wow, it was great to get away from camp for 30 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck?
I watched that movie and then the Netflix series and the Netflix movie that I watched it all at once because I never watched it until then. And then I watched it behind the scenes. Like that was literally so I kind of get all of it mixed up in my mind because I watch it all like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I didn't see the
got
prequel
Bradley
series
Cooper
or the movie, but
They got Bradley
I've
Cooper
seen the
back.
movie.
It's all good. I love that they got Bradley Cooper back for the prequel, but they didn't get him for the sequel movie. So they cast Adam Scott and just said he got a face change. I was like, that's all.
I love the sequence where Paul Rudd's character's hitting on Elizabeth Banks, and the kid drowns, the kid drowns, and the other kid's like, "I saw him; he was alive." And Paul Rudd's, "All right, let's go," and he kicks the kid out of the car and drives away.
That is an underrated.
That is so
comedy.
good.
Role Models is another good one.
Yes,
and that was also like all the Stella guys made. Like that was Michael Ian Black, and then the other dude.
The state people.
The state, yeah.
Is that not Stella? Was there?
I've never heard this term. Never heard Stella. I've only know them as the state. The TV show, The State, is a.
Oh, all right. I've never seen The State. They were a traveling stand-up comedian group. Michael, and.
Yeah, it's probably that's probably where the.
I think it's The State because it had
Michael and Dave, right? Or what's their group? I can't remember the third one.
Okay.
But
Michael Ian Black, Michael Stillwater.
Yeah. And there's some bald dude.
Michael Showalter.
Showalter. I was close.
But I remember, it was like a Comedy Central Presents had them on as Stella.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right when Michael Ian Black was doing like a lot of Reno 911 and stuff, so I recognized him. And he had a huge, long career of you boy, get you this and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that was a funny movie. It had a lot of dark moments in it, but and then the kid were like they bring the kid in. He's like, I'm not showering, so they trick him and they all pick him up and just throw him into the shower.
Also, live action H. John Benjamin. Gotta love it. You gotta love actual H. John Benjamin. Was it the first one or the second one where he becomes a soup can?
Oh, the second one.
The movie version,
it's in the Netflix movie. Yeah.
I think he is a soup can in the original because of the second one, a sequel or prequel.
There's the movie and the prequel that happened before the movie where they're all playing themselves but kind of older, and then there's the movie that takes place after the events of.
Oh my God! See, I watched it all at once, and it's a big freaking blur.
He was as himself in the prequel. It was in the sequel 10 years later thing that he was a soup can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, H. John Benjamin was a fucking soup can. That's how I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I didn't kick John out, right? Like he left. My mouse was over him. I feel like
no. John had an emergency. He had to leave.
Yeah, he had to leave.
Yeah.
And then he came back. We didn't let him talk, and then he left.
No, I think something's come up. So
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm going in for Movie Lovers Unite anyway, so we're good.
What is there any other movies you guys want to talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
Okay, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you're not going to go on the four stop signs, I'll go. A movie I got on this list, Kingpin. I love Kingpin. I'm also very close to Amish country, and I see a lot of Amish guys, and it just makes Kingpin that much nicer to me. I live in the middle of nowhere.
For you, what do you call an Amish person with his arm up a horse's ass?
Huh?
A mechanic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of Seth Rogen, Sex Drive was another funny one.
Yes,
I only saw that the one time.
I have brought up multiple times of the you can open but you can't close. Like the two guys are like, "Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, what's up?" Blah 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 blah. But they can't close. So when the chick actually is interested, they just drive away.
Yeah.
Because I am totally that. Like the chick has to close. I can open, but if the girl's not interested, I'm like, "Hey." Like I can't close.
Here's another one I'm surprised.
Megan's gonna explode if we don't bring up Wedding Crashers. He's brought up 3 times in the chat. He's gonna fucking blow up his little mind. No offense. I like it.
Sorry, Ben. What were you about to say?
They're not Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
It's a great comedy, and
I've only seen it the one time in theaters. I just couldn't bring myself to watch it after.
I only watched it once, and it's not that I didn't like it. It didn't stick.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was after it blew up for me, and it was like, it was one of those overhyped ones. I'm sorry,
girlfriend, so that's kind of why.
You watched it with a girlfriend?
Yeah, an ex-girlfriend. But also I remember that movie introduced me to a whole new side of Jane Seymour. Because to me, she'll always be Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, and then after that, I was like, "Holy shit!"
To me, she'll always be taking from Smallville.
Of course,
I don't know anything you're talking about, but I have now Funeral Crash. That's how to get some really grade A trim there. Have you guys ever Funeral Crash?
Nope.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. No one's actually horny at a funeral. That's cool.
You know who's really funny in that movie?
Are you horny at a funeral, Soda?
No, I was gonna say Death at a Funeral. There was a lot of horny at the funeral.
Oh. Should we all talk about if we're horny at funerals? I'm always horny, so it doesn't.
No, that's the only stiff that should be at a funeral is the dead guy. Ben.
All right. There you go. Dagan, this is what you fucking wanted. You want us to talk about that movie. You get dead boner jokes is what you get. And then then freaking Dante's girlfriend's going to go bang him.
This is a movie I'm surprised it was briefly mentioned earlier, but we never talked about it. Van Wilder.
Classic Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, I brought it up and I assumed that somebody else would, but I didn't bring it up because it is connected to Animal House. That movie it came out at a specific time that kind of shaped my little. I just found out what boners were, and it was that weird time when everyone was gone and you had to search all your neighbors' houses for porn. You're like 11. No, just me. I'm a little freak. I'm a little freak.
I don't know. If you're a little freak, I went up to my dad and asked him to buy me Playboys.
Mom bought me one when I was 14. She bought me a couple of Playboys.
Yep. So did my dad.
And then my brother got some really actual raunchy magazines, and my mom threw them all out. Thanks, dude. Ruin it for all of us.
But yeah, Van Wilder, man. Whew.
Have you guys seen that movie?
Can we save this for every time Dagan comes? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I will make it a banner for our Star Wars show. Sorry, I ruined the show.
Sorry, I ruined the show, guys. All right, Ben, you will not get to talk. We have interrupted you so much today. It's becoming a gimmick. We're going to continue to. Shut up, Ben. You talk too much.
Have you guys seen that movie with Jason Biggs, Jack Black, Steve Zahn,
Saving Silverman?
Yeah.
Oh, Saving Silverman.
Yeah, I love Saving Silverman.
Touchdown. No touchdown. What?
That has made me horny for Arby's so much. When freaking what's his name? Oh, the actor. Steve Zahn. Yeah, I'm watching a TV show he's in right now. But when he drops it on her tit and he like I'm like, oh my god, I want Arby's. And have sex with that sandwich, apparently, because that's what this is doing to me. I said it's an after-hour show, Soda. Change the name to cream soda. It's gross.
I still think Jack Black is not the funniest Jack Black I've ever seen in any movie.
It is kind of peak. It's like right after Tenacious D, and he's still in that mode. It's pretty famous.
Yeah, I'd say it's up there for me. His funniest is Tropic Thunder.
Oh, yes.
I just don't love that movie as much as everybody else does. I think it works better. I don't know. For some reason, that movie didn't do it for me.
It grew on me. It took me a while to actually come around on it.
There's definitely clips of that movie. Like anything that Tom Cruise does in it, everything that freaking Robert Downey Jr. does in it, like there's those clips, but it just didn't blow up.
I love that movie.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
The funniest part of that movie, for me anyway, isn't even in the movie. It is everything before the movie, without
the trailers. Tobey Maguire, The Devil's Alley, MTV Movie Awards Best Kiss winner, Tobey Maguire.
The fatties?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Well, that's also the you never go full, I'm going to say R word, because I will say tits and fuck, but I will say R word today. Yeah. But that's where all that came from. Yeah. And then people talk about like, well, like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio did, and he made it. but he's amazing now. He's alive too.
Yeah, that was his first Oscar-nominated role too.
Really, he got nominated for that.
Best supporting actor.
The best performance in that movie, actually, for me, is John C. Riley is just that like who really wants to work at, is it an Arby's or a Wendy's or something? Just, I don't know. He kills that role.
It's been a really long time since I've seen it.
It's like a fast food place that that originated the freaking salad bar or something, but he has all these facts about the fast food place, and then he like gives them a free sample of like a milkshake in just this delivery. He's like, taste that. There's real milk in there. And it's like this really odd delivery, and it just slaughters me. I love John C. Riley in that movie. This is what we're talking about, right? We're shooting the breeze about What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
His character arc is that he has to buy a cake at a Mega Mart. It's a weird fucking movie. Weird fucking movie.
I saw it once many.
It's not a raunchy comedy.
No.
Although Juliette Lewis is in it, and she's awesome.
Yeah, Metro Border.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, great movie.
Yes, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, yeah.
I didn't know if that counted as a raunchy comedy. We're talking about weird movies to watch with people. I watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall with somebody I just broke up with. I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. We both seen it before. I don't know why we did that. We knew it was a bad idea. I think we just wanted to hate each other all day.
The Out of Snow was the highlight of that movie. As like the Russell Brand. That was hysterical. Like the Inside
of You. Oh God.
I like the spinoff movie too. Get Him to the Greek. I thought that's
I love Get Him to the Greek.
I rewatched that a couple months ago. Yeah, it's a great film.
That scene in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, my favorite Russell Brand scene is I lost the shoe, not this one, but its twin. I'm not saying it's an evil twin. Like he just goes off. Like, yeah, we get it. You lost the shoe. Like, that's pretty
another
good.
one later on.
That's my drama. I'm gonna have sex.
Okay, my favorite Russell Brand quote. It's actually not from a movie. It's actually a tweet I saw a long ass time ago. It's, I ordered a virgin martini at the restaurant. It's not a virgin anymore.
Makes sense. Because he dumped booze in it. Or he put
another really weird movie that came out. Like it was funny. Had a lot of great build up to. Was Sausage Party, the animated movie.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I remember all the build up.
The build up for it is hysterical. All the horror thing for food, all the food getting chopped up, eating. Like the ending sequence makes you seriously uncomfortable after. Like, what did I just watch?
I heard it was disturbing. Is what I was told. I heard it went too far, which makes me want to watch it more.
But it is really disturbing. I saw this in theaters.
There's one more movie I want to bring up. Happy Times Murder.
Still haven't seen that either.
What?
Happy what?
That's the one with Melissa McCarthy and
what? Happy Time Murders?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I saw it. The puppets.
I haven't seen it, but it's not from lack of wanting to. When it first came out, I just didn't have the chance. But that was made by freaking Jim Henson's family.
Yeah, his son. It's messed up. It's the opening sequence. A puppet goes into a puppet sex shop. And I'm just gonna say, Cal's gone sour too. That's all I'm gonna say. That sequence when I watched this in theaters, I cried. I was crying, laughing so hard. It was so funny. It's like what's going on? And it's hysterical. It's if you don't like Melissa McCarthy, you're not gonna like this movie because she's in it. And
I don't dislike her. I mean, she's not somebody I'm like, oh, I have to watch it because she's in it.
But I would watch the Happy Time Murders. It's like the opening sequence. You either know you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. That opening sequence for me, I cried. I was laughing so hard.
I love the surrealism of puppets like that. Those kind of puppets, like very, very classically Jim Henson-y puppets being used for, the bad stuff. It's very Wonder Chosen for me. And it's like, it's something that I love. I find it like, it's so visceral that it can do it does something to your childhood, like literally fucking up your childhood in a way that you can't get with a lot of different type of comedy, and I love it.
No,
so I do want to watch it because of that.
There's a puppet sex scene in it too.
Wasn't the puppet ejaculation scene in the trailer?
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I saw the puppet ejaculation.
There's behind the scenes at the end of the movie where they show the people controlling the puppets and like the positions where they have them all. It's hysterical.
All right, is it a better puppet sex scene than Team America?
No.
Okay,
it's not. It's funny that the Happy Time Murders one. That one's more. that's more puppet ends. Team America was more Barbie doll ends.
And Poopy.
Yeah,
There's a turn in that.
Okay,
That's
there's one
that's
movie
the underrated
I want
version.
to bring up before we wrap this up pretty soon here, and that is This Is the End.
Okay, I thought you were going to bring that up. So we have to talk about.
I just watched it last week again.
Really?
Yeah,
So
it's the first time I'd seen it in a long time. Fuck, it's funny.
we have to talk about Jonah Hill getting raped by a demon, don't we?
Oh God, yeah, that.
It's not that compelling.
Demon.
Really, Jay? It's not that.
Play myself Logan.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Michael Cera getting killed. He's like,
Oh,
which one of you
dude.
guys stole my phone? Oh, it's
Yeah.
in my pocket. And he gets stabbed. I mean, that's hysterical.
Rihanna
Everyone's-
really
Michael
slapped
Cera
him.
getting a rim blowy
Yeah.
as he's drinking a sippy cup and then
Wait,
offers
sippy
that
cup?
to the
Sippy
chick
cup?
who's sipping his wee wee. Sippy sip, sippy sip. That
Yeah.
was the whole movie was worth that. Like,
Okay. That's a great line,
Oh,
but my
shit.
favorite delivery of a line is Channing Tatum out saying about Danny McBride, I love
I
him."
love
oh yeah, because doesn't he make Channing Tatum his,
He's the gimp. He makes him his
Channing Tate Yum.
Yeah, Channing. Yeah. Or
also
the way-
Danny McBride
the
is
way-
totally a villain.
The way
Just in
Craig
real life.
Robinson is trying to pull that porcelain dick across the room looks like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really, Jay? It's not that
I feel
compelling.
like that movie suffered from like kind of a lull in the second act, but it ends in a really,
Oh yeah.
really good way. And
Dark too.
Yeah.
yeah, very dark. A friend of mine brought this up, and I wish I could bring up more examples. But he was telling me of how all the movies of like that era were all based around a song. Like that one had like a Backstreet Back, and they all like it was a Backstreet Back. They all sing it in heaven.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of other movies at that time that were either based on NSYNC songs or other like early 2000s pop songs that were brought up a lot during the movies. I wish I had other examples, but that was one of them.
Before we end, I want to mention one more. I think I love this one. Is Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes. The first
Yes.
one. Oh God, yeah.
First one, second one sucked. First
Yeah.
one's the best.
I didn't watch the second one. I like the first one a lot. I can't see what's her name?
Lizzie
Chaplin
Chaplin.
being ever being with freaking
John Cusack.
John Cusack. Like I just don't like it takes me out of it. It's like
I mean,
what the
The whole game, the whole thing, of like, will he lose the arm? That whole sequence, like,
Oh, God,
yeah, and then he finally loses the arm because he gets hit by a car, and it's just the funny jokes. And they had the Billy Zabka was one of the was the Richie douche guy in it.
Okay, so fun little fact about that. That is Billy Zabka, but the actress who plays
Billy
his wife,
Zabka?
William Zabka from Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So fun little fact that
Yeah, he was the
one
rich
little
guy.
thing that just popped up in my head about that.
Dude,
scene.
Ben's mind is all over the screen right now. Look at that shit.
Okay,
It
Ben,
blew
this will
his
probably
fucking
blow your
mind.
mind as well. So the actress playing his wife, Diora Baird, plays his ex-wife in Cobra Kai.
Oh wow. But yeah, I mean, I had to throw Hot
It did
Tub
blow
Time.
my mind.
I know.
Great White. I mean, that movie is just so quotable. Great White Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. The Great White
Motley
Buffalo.
Lou. When he was
Motley
little.
Lou, Lugal.
Motley Lou. Lugal Maps.
Yeah,
Lose
my dad.
Adam Sucks, Cox, and it's like what is it's not even on the thing. Is Sucks on there? Is Dicks? No. Oh my god.
Or
I don't
just
know,
after the scene of Billy
and-
Zabka in the washroom where it's Lou that wakes up and it's like he's got all the soap all over
Yeah.
his, or the other guy Craig Robinson wakes up
Yeah.
soup. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And then and then the Winter Soldier is the guy who's like America.
First time I'd ever seen him in a movie.
Really? I gotta rewatch that movie. I only watched it, I think, once or twice in theaters, and I remember it just blowing my mind. I went to it. I was in college,
Great
and
movie,
I remember it being really funny. Also, Crispin Glover. We all know he's actually certifiably insane in real life, right?
Yep.
That guy's
Yeah.
The dude owns a castle in the Czech where he films all his movies. Yes, he's a little crazy.
He's a little crazy. Have you ever seen the bit of him kicking at Letterman's head?
Yep.
Yeah.
They just there's a show on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. They dropped the second season not that long ago, and one of the episodes is on Back to the Future, and they actually talk about how crazy he was on set in there.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Crispin Glover has At the top of my head, I have to say my number 2 favorite kill in a Friday the 13th movie.
Oh God, yeah. That was funny. That was after.
Hey, where's the corkscrew? And he stabs him with the corkscrew, and then stabs him in the head, and he like does it perfectly.
Yeah, God bless Friday the 13th.
And his dancing, he's got like this like.
Yeah.
Dancing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mess. But anyways, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. That was a great hour and a half.
Yeah.
I'm on bedtime.
We can go to 3 if I have my way.
I just saw you yawning, so I'm going to call it here.
I'm tired, man. I woke up at 5. I worked 10 hours in a factory today. Leave me alone, Soda.
Okay, well, anyways, thank you guys very much for joining us. John, unfortunately, yes, had to leave earlier. Charlie, where could everybody find you?
I'm with John on Movie Lovers Unite, Movie Lovers / TV Lovers Unite. You can find us on Facebook there. You can also find us on Twitter, but without the E because Twitter doesn't like the E. So Movie Lovers Unit or whatever. You can find me there. You can also find me on Twitter at Cartman the Fat 36. I think it's Cartman the Fat. I forgot. It's something like that. And I think
that's you. Okay.
In my profile picture, I'm a huge Daria fan. So it's the band Mystic Spiral. But we're thinking about changing the name. Like that's my profile picture. I love that show. But you can find us from there.
So random.
Yeah. I live like a Mystic Spiral. I just remember that name. It's such a cool name, but I don't think they should change the name. But
who makes Daria references? Just like,
I grew up on that show. I grew up when MTV was actually good before it
I'm a Beavis and Butthead guy. So.
Yeah. Beavis and Butthead King of the Hill.
Well, yeah, that's where you can find us at. John's usually good at mentioning all the other stuff where you can find us at. I think tomorrow, John and I are supposed to review the new Suicide Squad movie. So we're gonna do a review for that. And then I don't know anything else other than that. Usually I'm with John. He usually does the rest of the mentioning stuff. We have a GoFundMe page. I forgot where that is. I think it's GoFundMe.com/Movie Lovers Unite, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's where you can find us at. But primary Cartman the Fat on Twitter. I usually just follow. I don't tweet much on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's where you can find me at if you want to follow me.
All right, Taco. What about you?
Well, I got a couple more weeks of my Star Wars show that's on Saturday nights. I will not be on this Saturday because I will be camping in a beautiful state park in the middle of Minnesota with my beautiful family. But that next week, we'll be back on for a couple more before we take a little bit of a break. But yes, that Star Wars show is Let's Taco About Star Wars on Saturday on this channel. Soda is our fearless producer. He's missed 2 episodes. So if we're on IMDb, your name's now 3rd down.
Oh, that's just nature when you have, things you got to do, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we have lives. I get it. I have lives. I'm missing tomorrow. I'm missing this week, and I'm giving you shit for it. And also, when I'm available, which I had a pretty good run. Hopefully, I can get back to doing it. I'll do shows on either Friday, Sunday, and I'll just kind of be around in the northern schmo-loving space when I can. And, yeah.
Right on. And Ben, what about you?
You guys can find me right here every Tuesday here on Shooting, every Friday on The Camping Up Path, every Saturday on Get Ready, and also Mount Smalldown every Northern Players' Careers. This summer we're going into factions. This week we're going into corruption. It's going to be a fun time.
Are you going to have Daniel on the show? Because he has to be on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I invited him. He's in.
The biggest corruption shill of all fucking time.
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, as for me, you can find me on my personal Instagram at soda_the_saxman. That's Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on the shows that Ben has mentioned here. You can also find me weekly, usually on Schmodown 90 Canada, and of course producing Taco's show on Saturdays. So thank you guys very much for joining us, and we will see you next week on Shooting the Breeze. Take care, everybody.